Thursday, March 27th, 2024, meeting of the Tualatin Planning Commission. Lindsay, will you please call the roll?
Certainly. Chair Beers. Chair Beers.
Here. I thought that was certainly Chair Beers, and then you're gonna start.
Sorry.
It's
It's okay. It's a good practice. Vice Chair Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner Luddick.
Here.
Commissioner Weimer.
Here.
And Commissioner Valley.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to announcements and planning commission communication. Anything from us for staff? Okay. Nothing there. Have you folks all had a chance to review the minutes from February 21st, 2024?
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Someone move.
Motion to approve.
All right,
Second.
in a second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I saw Brittany as an aye also. That was, any opposed? Okay. Moving right along. And then, communication from public not on the agenda. We've got the Byram CIO Land Use Officer here. I forgot your name. Danny O'Neill. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Find out what's going on.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, then we'll move to our first action item. Planning Commission is asked to provide a recommendation to the City Council on a city-initiated proposal to adopt amendments to the Tualatin Development Code, known as the Short-Term Priority Code Bundle, Plain Text Amendment 24-0001. And it's
Thank you,
Erin?
Chair Beers. Can everybody hear me online? Okay, great. I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. This is our redo, and I appreciate everybody's time to be present. And good evening. My name is Erin Ingman. I serve as Tualatin Senior Planner. Steve Coper, our Assistant Community Development Director, is away tonight, but you have Lindsay and I here. And we are here to present a bundle of code updates. And we ask, as Chair Beers mentioned, that the commission provide a recommendation to council at the end of this presentation. So we have a pretty straightforward agenda tonight where I'll kind of go over the project purpose. We'll preview the code changes and I'll walk through our approval criteria and then open it up for any discussion and public testimony. So this project is what we refer to as a short-term priority bundle project, and it's a plan text amendment that would expand and modernize permitted land uses and limitations in various commercial zoning districts in support of economic enterprise. So at a very high level, what we're looking to do is add home improvement materials as a permitted use in our central commercial zone, which is downtown. We're also looking to add health and fitness facilities as a use in our general commercial zone. But we are expanding the mixed-use commercial to allow battery electric vehicle showrooms. And then lastly, we'll look to expand our hours of operation for the retail sales of cannabis facilities and medical dispensaries so that our dispensary can stay competitive with some of our neighboring dispensaries. And for a little bit of background, throughout last year in 2023, we received various requests to amend the development code by property owners and business owners. And towards the tail end of last year as well, the planning staff engaged City Council with some discussion about how we should prioritize some of our to-do list. And our council directed us to work on this short-term code bundle. So as we've worked through the legislative process in February of 2024, council was able to preview this draft code and kind of gave it the general thumbs up. And I just want to highlight too that this project supports our comprehensive plan goal 4.2, which is to encourage business retention, growth, and attraction. So you'll see the project touches on 5 different code chapters. And we'll kind of get into the details and look at the code on the following slides. But for Chapter 39, we're proposing to add use category definitions and clarifications in support of these amendments. This includes distinctions between battery electric vehicle showrooms and traditional auto lots. which have not been historically allowed in Tualatin. The battery electric vehicle showroom uses will be similar to Tesla showrooms or Rivian showrooms. They're commonly found in malls. So the main distinction is that these showrooms are generally mid-sized tenant spaces and they don't require large lots for outdoor storage of vehicles. And then for chapter 53, the retail sales of home improvement materials and supplies has been added in our central commercial zone, which I mentioned. We are also proposing a square footage limitation of 65,000 square feet, and that's mainly to curtail big box retailers. The amendments also include some clarifying language and approval criteria for outdoor storage in the zone. And then moving on to chapter 54, health and fitness facility uses have been added as a permitted use in the general commercial zone. This category includes pickleball, which may include outdoor facilities. And as such, we are proposing additional standards and limitations to outdoor health and facility uses. For chapter 57, with the battery electric vehicle showrooms, we are adding some floor area caps and that all vehicle sales inventory must be located inside of the building. And then finally, for chapter 80, it's simply to expand the hours of operation. The current code allows for 10 to 8 p.m. and the amendments will allow for 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So looking at what the language actually says, as I mentioned, we have a use definition that we've added, and then some distinction between that and what a traditional automobile sale use would be and how that's not permitted in the city of Tualatin. And then again, for chapter 54, as I mentioned, we're permitting the health and fitness facilities with outdoor uses. And then for our limitations, we borrowed from some limitations we had for outdoor pet activity for pet daycares. So it has a screening component, quiet hours, and then we also have a buffer area between residential planning districts. We're aware that sometimes the noise from pickleball can be a nuisance for residents, so we wanted to be mindful of that and bake that into our code. And then for our mixed-use commercial zone, I kind of spoke to this at length already, but we're adding the vehicle electric showroom. We are capping the floor area not to exceed 10,000 square feet. And the showroom is limited to 7,500 of that 10,000 square feet. And again, all the materials must be located inside of a building.
Aaron, do you mind backing up one, please?
Sure.
Okay, I was just looking, I guess it's B sub 2, all inventory must be inside the building. Okay, that was a question I had.
Okay.
Got the convenient parking lot right there. Okay.
Yeah. And I think what we've seen with Washington Square Mall, which we kind of mirrored some of our code off of, is that they will allow a portion of their parking deck for some of the overflow storage, but because it's in a parking garage, it's technically inside of a building. So I think that's how it's likely to be interpreted.
So what, is there any flexibility there for like leaving a car out per se that's gonna be test driven throughout the day, or do they have to bring it back into the building?
So we might have someone online that may present some testimony, but what I understand is that with the test driving, you schedule it and it may be delivered to your location and then you test drive it from a location, so it doesn't necessarily happen on site. I could look into that further if it's a question. I
Well,
don't,
this doesn't leave any question, like you can't do it. And just practically though, I'm wondering what will happen and if that will be a problem.
right, what I understand is that they're scheduled in advance and then through that advanced scheduling, it eliminates just vehicles kind of being out and about. And then looking at our approval criteria, I've included some findings and analysis in your planning commission packet. And we found that the project maintains consistency with the applicable statewide planning goals, the Oregon administrative rules, and our metro code. And the findings also maintain that the various characteristics of the city identified in the comprehensive plan will be maintained, and the project complies with all of our development code approval criteria. So in closing, we have the recommendation that staff recommends before the planning commission. And I'll open it up for any questions or public testimony that we might have.
Aaron, I do have another question on the chapter 53, conditional use approval criteria being clarified for outdoor storage. Can you walk me through that?
Let me see. Can we bring that up?
The findings.
So it would be the draft code. The language with our new amendments was a little too big to put on one presentation slide. Yeah, thank you.
And share it.
We're working to share the draft code with everyone online so you can follow along. And if we could advance. We're discussing the outdoor storage, so if you can go a little further,
Sorry.
that's okay. Up a little bit.
Oh, there we go. I think.
Yeah,
there.
so
Or
it's just
sub
4.
B.
So I was proposing to reorganize this so it maintains the format of other planning chapters.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you have specific questions, but that's kind of the main reason behind some of the clarification.
No, it's just on your initial slide, you talked about these are the things we're changing, and I felt pretty good about knowing the other ones, but that one, for some reason, I didn't. So,
Yeah, so this is more just a housekeeping one.
so yeah, I don't see anything struck through. Is it just all reorganized?
Correct.
Commissioners, do you have questions of Aaron?
I had a question on that's basically the pickleball one.
Mhm.
So did we require like a certain height of fencing, or, to keep it contained?
Right, so it's 8 feet.
So is that standard for a pickleball? Like, I didn't know if you have to put like much taller because it escapes more easily, or in my thoughts, I was like, well, maybe it needs a different size fence for pickleball than it would for a standard.
Right, so we didn't engage a consultant to kind of delve deeper into that, but it's my understanding that the combination of the 8-foot fence and the setback from residential zones is generally compliant to what I've seen other cities bake into their pickleball ordinances. There wasn't too many good examples that I found in Oregon, but I found some from Colorado. So I try to kind of mimic what Colorado was doing as well.
And I was just lighting too, like, I assume they're gonna put lighting, but they're gonna use it. Was there a time restriction on it? I'm trying to remember.
So there
They're
were
both-
hours of
Yeah, 10 to
operation.
7. So, but, are they gonna like install lighting? Did we put lighting restrictions on it or not?
Our code has some general lighting restrictions, and it's just so that glare is not in public rights of way, so roadways, residential areas, and our wetland resource areas. And it's kind of limited to those 3 main topics in our code right now as it stands, just for light citywide. We didn't do anything specific for pickleball, other than those general requirements.
And you hadn't seen it before when you looked at like Colorado and stuff, didn't have specific lighting restrictions or anything on it. Okay.
No, Colorado, I think, is a bit more nuanced, where most jurisdictions comply with dark sky regulations, so they likely don't have to add anything additional. We encourage dark sky regulation, but it's not baked into our code.
Randy?
Yeah, Aaron, this might complicate things, so try to bear with me on this, but in the mixed use zone, we're making a change. The standard for the building for durable goods reads that the building footprint shall be less than 60,000 square feet of the gross floor area.
Thank you.
That's 57, 210, 1A,
210.
I.
Oh. Online can follow along. I wasn't sure we had it. Thank you.
Are you trying to get to that code?
So with this is more of a